So we're gonna be moving somewhere, so I'm so excited for you guys to come with me and start residency with me. We're gonna be doctors soon. Like, did you guys think that this was possible when I was posting week in the life of a medical student and I didn't know what I was doing on the floors and had no idea, and now I'm legit about to be a whole doctor? Ooh, child, I am so glad that this residency interview season is officially over, and I'm ready to decompress and talk about it while it's all still fresh in my mind and just spill the tea for you guys. Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new around here, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Julia. I am a fourth year medical student graduating in T-minus 4 months. And I will be going into the field of internal medicine. I have an interest in subspecializing in cardiology potentially, but I also have an update about that, you guys. So I just got a lot to talk about. So as you guys may know, in the fourth year of medical school, you apply into the specialty that you want to go into to become the doctor of your choice. And you have the residency interview season where you interview with programs and try to figure out where you want to be. And then currently where I am in the process right now is that I have just recently finished the interview season, you guys. Officially done. It has been long and grueling and just really tiring. I'm so blessed and so humbled, but it is very, very tiring process, you guys, even virtually. So right now, I am in the process of creating my rank list and figuring out where exactly I want to be for the next steps of my training and to begin my career. That rank list goes on to get submitted in February or early March, and in mid-March, I find out where exactly I match to for my residency training, and will be kind of beginning this journey as a doctor. So it's a very intense, very kind of exciting, but also anxiety-provoking time right now. But it's also the natural progression of a medical student and the steps that we need to take to get to where we want to go. So in this video, you guys, I just wanted to decompress and talk about the residency interview season and my personal experiences, some things that I saw and encountered along the way, and then what my next steps are and where do we go from here. So this video is just more my thoughts and kind of my personal take on the process. However, I am going to be dropping a more kind of advising type of video that really is going to get into the thick of like residency interviewing and questions that are commonly asked along the way, and how I, believe that you should answer these questions, or kind of my tips and advice for how to actually navigate the residency interview season and the interview itself to kind of better your position and nail the interviews and really get yourself in the best place to match where you want to go. So be sure you guys are subscribed and tuned in for that video, which will be dropping very, very soon, especially since it's all very fresh in my mind and I have a lot of the questions that I was asked written down for that reason. So stay tuned. All right, you guys, so the residency interview trail. Oh, what are my thoughts? What are my thoughts? What are my thoughts? All right, you guys, so overall, the season was long, you guys. It started in October. We started getting interview invites as early as the day the cycle opened on September 29th. But mostly, programs started interviewing in October. I also want to say that this is specialty specific. So I am going into internal medicine. So my personal experience with my interview season is based on internal medicine and the way that the interview season works for us. I am fully aware that there are other specialties that have completely different strategies for interviews, how they offer interviews, how they conduct their interview season. So please take that with a grain of salt, that this is the internal medicine kind of approach and perspective that I am coming from. So the interview season for me lasted from October. I started in about mid-October and I just finished, you guys, in like mid to late January. So a very long interview season, you guys. And from my perspective, it was extremely busy, not only because it's a long season, so that's tiring, but I also had quite a few interviews, you guys, and I cannot wait to drop more specific videos, and trust me, I will. I am very big on being transparent on my channel and kind of giving you all the deets to know exactly why things are happening the way they're happening. It's very easy to kind of look at someone who, you know, got 20 acceptances to medical school and they don't share how they did it or what their MCAT score was or what their GPA was, and to think that that's achievable for everyone. You know what I mean? So I think that the value is in the transparency, right? You need to know kind of the details of how someone got themselves to the position that they're in. And you do that by sharing everything and the most that you can, right? And I've always said that I will be open and share my, you know, my grades for medical school, my USMLE scores, kind of like go through my CV or my resume in its entirety after the match process. You know, I think that I'm still in the process right now, and I just kind of want to safeguard that until I match, and then I can discuss how it all happened, right? And this is where I matched, and this is how I got here, and all of that. So don't count your eggs before they hatch, basically. Don't put the cart before the horse is my approach, and trust me, it'll happen, but just not at this moment. So all of that being said, I did have quite a busy interview season with the amount of interviews that I had. So not only was it a long season, but I also had 2 to 3 interviews, sometimes 4 a week, a work week, you guys. So 5 days, Monday through Friday, no interviews on the weekends. So I sometimes had 2 to 5 interviews per week. And the only weeks that were off were like the holiday weeks, Christmas and New Year's and whatnot. So it was a very busy season for me. So in the beginning, I went in kind of worried and hesitant about what the interview season was going to be like. And I think that I'm a pretty good interviewer, you know. I think that interviewing is a skill, and I think a lot of it is being personable, but also knowing your stuff. You know, you are getting interviewed about yourself, right? So the more you know and are reflective and know yourself and what you want and your vision, and more importantly, how to articulate it, I think the better your interview skills are. And that's something I think that I do pretty well. I'm very self-aware, and I also know what I want to do and where I want to go. And I have like a vision for my future. So I think that it's easy to articulate that. On top of that, I know the work I've done. You know, how does somebody have a resume or a CV and get stumped when they're asked a question about something that's on it? Like, did you even care about what you did that you don't even know how to answer a question about it? So I am very intentional about the things that I'm involved in. I make sure that they're things that I care about, that I'm able to speak about. So I was never thrown off by anything asked about, you know, on my resume, the activities or research that I was involved in, because I know how to talk about them. They were all things I cared about, and it's easier and more organic to talk about things you care about. So I found the interviewing process of it all to actually be pretty easy, and I got the hang of it early. You know, after the second or third interview, they're very, very similar, the interviewing styles. You know, you're pretty much asked the same questions in different kind of ways or different variations, but everybody's getting to the same core thing, which is, who are you? What do you want for yourself and your future? Can that be in accordance and in alignment with what we have and what we want? And are you gonna fit here amongst the culture that we have? And that's basically the core of it all, right? Is programs trying to figure that out about you, and you as the interviewee trying to figure out if that's the place that you can best achieve what you want to achieve, you know? So I got the hang of it pretty early, and by the third or fourth interview, I'm like, okay, I get the vibe, you know, like I get the vibes. I see how this is gonna be, and you know, it was like kind of like practice and trial the first few, but then it was like, all right, I think I'm ready to go, you know? So kind of hit interview season full step, and it was just off to the races. And I kid you not, you guys, by like the 9th or 10th one, I was like, I'm tired. like how many more? And this is a lot, you know, like, because then it's no longer just your nerves and you're excited. It's like, dang, this is taking up a lot of time, you know. Interviews were running, most of mine were in the mornings, so they would run about 8 to 2 or 9 to 3. So it was like a full work day, you guys. Like, and Zoom fatigue is real when you're sitting here, you know, focused all day, and when you're in the interview, or you know, it's a whole day orchestra. So you're sitting through informational sessions, you're sitting through panels and meet and greets, and then basically like 15 or 20% of the time is your actual interviews, right? You might have 2 or 3 interviews that are 20 to 25 minutes each. So that is only a small sliver of the day. And you have to be on, right? Not only just literally your camera has to be on, but you want to be engaged. You want to look interested. You want to show that you're following along, you're nodding, you're smiling and laughing with their jokes. You know, you don't just want to sit here and scroll on your phone, you know, unacceptable. So that Zoom fatigue is real, because it's not like you just get to sit with your camera off and drink your coffee behind the scenes and have breakfast and watch TV and scroll through Instagram and TikTok. Like, you're actually literally engaged. So that work day, that interview day, feels like a full work day. So it gets very tiring. And after the first few, I was just like, wow, like this is gonna be a long season, you know what I mean? So I will talk more about the strategy of how to structure your interview season in the next videos, about kind of my tips and advice. But there is also a strategy to how you structure your interview season based on what I'm saying, based on that exhaustion factor that starts to play in and really just cause you to kind of go through the motions toward the end of the interview season. So there's a strategy in which you want to kind of place the interviews in a certain time frame based on your interest in that program. So stay tuned for my next videos on kind of my tips and advice, where I go more into detail about that. But overall, you guys, it was awesome. You know, I'm talking a lot about just how tiring and kind of the downsides of it, but it was an amazing experience. I loved that it was virtual. You know, I did my medical interview cycle season, what was that, 4 years ago now, in person. And I think that there's obviously so many advantages of that, just getting to travel around and see the different cities and meet with the students and the faculty and whatnot. But also, there's a lot of cons to that as well, you guys. I wasn't able to do nearly as many medical school interviews because there's a time factor there, right? If I'm traveling to another city, I have to pay for a flight, I have to pay for an Airbnb, I have to allocate my time to leave the day before the interview. I also have to take off work for all of that time that I'm missing, you know? So there's a lot of pros and cons to each approach, but me, I absolutely loved the virtual nature of things. Most of the cities or, you know, schools I interviewed with, I've been to those cities just in my travel. And of course, maybe I'm not familiar with the hospital or the medical school per se, but at least I have some perspective or insight of what it's like to, you know, travel around in that city and what I felt, you know, when I was there visiting and whatnot. So I don't feel like the geography or missing out on the in-person experience is that make or break. I don't think or know of anyone personally who is literally like, I need to be there and see it in person in order to want to go there. I don't know, maybe it's just my own personal thing, but I don't think people are really saying, I'm not going there until I see it. You know, like if it's the best opportunity for you, like if a job tells you pick up and move to LA, you know, and you've never been to LA, like if your job that is the best opportunity for you is telling you to go there, then you're most likely gonna go there. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but if it really is a make or break for a student, then they'll go visit. You know, like we have from now until March when we have to submit our rank list to figure out where we want to be and rank the programs, right? So if it's really like that big of a deal to somebody to see the institution or see it in person, then they can go kind of take a trip there, I guess. I don't think it's that deep. It's not that deep for me, but I shouldn't say that it's like that for other people. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think that the virtual nature of things was really cool. It allowed me to do more interviews because I had more time, right? I don't have to take 2 days off to go to one place because I'm traveling and whatnot. I can do literally 2 interviews in 2 days because I'm traveling from my bedroom to the office, right? So it's just very convenient, and you're in the comfort of your own home. You get to wear sweatpants, you know, you get to wear slippers. I get to drink my coffee. And there are times throughout the interview day when you get to turn off your camera and kind of just decompress, which is good too. But yeah, it was like, it was chill, you know, it made me more relaxed to be in the comfort of my own space, and go to my bathroom on the break, or go to my kitchen to make breakfast or get a cup of coffee. You're not as rushed. You're not as, you know, on edge. So I feel like that really helps too with the interview itself. So as far as like some things or experiences that I had along the way, and I'll talk about this more in the tips and advice video, but you know, just people are so funny. Like, humans are legit hilarious without even intentionally meaning to be so. But you know, some of the faculty that I met along the way at the different institutions were just so funny, so brilliant, you guys. Like, the residency interview trail will really make you realize how many just intelligent, brilliant people there are in medicine. Like, and I don't know how I got here, but no, seriously, there is just some heavy hitters, and it's like, that excites me though, as much as it makes me scared as hell, because I'm like, how am I gonna know all the stuff that they know, or be as intelligent and ready and prepared for this as, you know, they are? But it also excites me because I'm a firm believer that like iron sharpens iron, and you need to be around greatness if you want to be great, right? Like, you got to be around people you're inspired by to get that inspiration to want to be more and do more. So it's just like, I'm pumped up. Like, I'm so ready because I just want to get it started, you know? And it's like, I know how tough residency is. Well, I don't personally know, obviously, but I know anecdotally how tough it is. And it's like, I'm not necessarily ready for that toughness, but I mean more so, I'm ready to step into my greatness, into my purpose, and officially be a doctor and have that responsibility and that, you know, opportunity to learn and get good at my craft and really just start the trajectory of who I am and who I want to be. And that is just the exciting part. And to be surrounded by all these people that, you know, I admire, and that I see that they're doing things that I want to do, and it's like they're going to be mentors and future colleagues and stuff. It's like, like, I'm gonna get there eventually, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Like, even being here as a 4th year medical student, you guys, like, oh my gosh, like, I remember the medical school interview trail, you know, and it's like, where does the time go? And I always get people who message me and send me messages like, Julia, you know, I want to be a doctor. Like, I've always been called to it. Like, I think that that's what I'm supposed to do, but am I too old? You know, is it too late to start this journey or whatnot? And it's like, sister or brother, what are you going to be doing in that time otherwise? You know what I mean? Like, that's going to make you as happy or fulfilled than to step in your purpose and achieve goals to get where you truly want to go. You know what I mean? It's never too late to pursue your calling, to step into your purpose. And the longer you fight it, the longer you're just adding on additional years or time to the inevitable. Because trust me, you're going to get to that point where you want to do it, and you are finally at your wit's end, and you're like, I'm starting the pre-med classes, or I'm taking the post-bac, or I'm starting that master's degree, you know, to get my GPA up, or I'm just gonna start the MCAT studying, F it, you know, like, I'm over this, what I'm doing in my real life that's not fulfilling me, and you'll get there, you know? So it's never too late. And start now, you know, start before you're ready, and it'll get you ready. So it's never too late, you guys. And I look back on this time and I'm just like, whoa, you know, like, it really flew by, and it will for you too. Everything is temporary. So that pain that you might feel now, wherever you are in your journey, whether you're in your undergrad classes, your graduate classes, whether you're studying for the MCAT right now, because I know it's about that season too, it's temporary. Grind it out, because it is just the stepping stone to get you to where you need to be, and you will be there eventually. So just do it, get it done. If you want it, you want it, you know? Nobody can want it for you. It has to come from within. So if you want it, then go for it. And I just went on a huge motivational rant, but truly it really just comes down to that. And it's like, I can give you all the advice in the world, right? I can send you all the messages and give you the playbook and the recipe list and the ingredients, but you have to take the steps, right? You have to. I had to. It has to come from within. So that's just my 2 cents. It was probably 10 cents on that. But yeah, so residency interviewing, you know, the greatness, the great individuals that I met along the way, just some funny stuff too. Like, you know, it was funny because there weren't a lot of minorities, surprise, surprise, along the way. So oftentimes, like in an interview, if I was at a school or whatever, and then the next day or the next few days, I had another interview and I noticed somebody that I had seen in a previous interview, because trust me, you guys, the world is very small in medicine, as large as it may seem, and without as many medical schools as there are, the population is pretty small, right? And it's even smaller within minorities. So of course I recognize a lot of different people of a lot of different racial, ethnic, gender backgrounds along the interview trail, but it's particularly noticing to me when I see other minorities along the way, because at some points it was only me or maybe 2 or 3 individuals who looked like me on an interview day, right, of maybe 20 or 30 people. So of course it's more recognizable, right, especially if I've seen them in an interview before. So sometimes, you know, me and another person would get to private Zoom chatting on the side and be like, hey girl, or what's up guy, you know, like I seen you last week, or hey, long time no see, you know, how did that interview go? So we would get to chatting privately, and that always just like warms my heart, because I saw quite a few people along the trail at different interviews, and that just was like, oh, super exciting, you know, because like these are going to be my future colleagues, and that was really exciting. Also, and I'm going to talk more about this in the tips and advice video, but Zoom etiquette is real too, you guys. Like by the end of interview season, I just had so many things I was annoyed with that mostly applicants like myself would do. You know, when we are interviewing for things, especially in like group settings. So I never had a group interviews. I know that some schools do something like that, but I never personally had group interviews. But the general sessions, right, the informational sessions, the panels, you're usually in a group. And it's just so funny because I feel like a lot of students, they feel like they have to unmute their mic and ask questions when we're asked like, oh, anybody have any questions? Just to kind of like show face and to like show that they're super interested or whatever, which is true to a sense, right? And I'll talk more about that in the tips video. But you guys, like, and this goes, I think, across the board, like of professions, of meetings, interviews, whatever, unmuting and asking silly things just to unmute and ask something is like, save it. Like, please save it, because you just annoyed me, you know. And I'm sure some of the faculty were like, here we go with this question again, or like, this is on the website, like you can look this up, you know what I mean? And some stuff is just like, you didn't have to ask that or say that. And I feel like, you know, we should do a lot of kind of like self-reflecting as far as the intentionality of what we're saying and what we're asking, because not all questions are good questions, right? And not every statement is a good statement. So it's like, especially in the interview setting, when you're trying to make an impression, I get the urge to want to like just unmute and show your interest and whatnot. But I would say just be a little more intentional about it. Be a little more specific and meaningful with your questions and statements. And don't just do something just to do something. So that was something that was always really funny for me. One example is that I was in an interview day, right? And they had us kind of rotating through breakout rooms with different residents. So every like, I guess 10 minutes or so, the residents would swap out. And I had an applicant in my breakout room with me who literally asked the same question, and the question was a very generic, probably you could find it on the website type of question, and he asked it in every single breakout room. And it's like, bruh, you know, if you didn't get the answer by now, then I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie, you know. And it's like, I don't know, it just was annoying. Like, ooh, it was, because we didn't have that much time, you know. And it's like, we literally just heard this answer in the last breakout room, and for the rest of us in the breakout room, we have to hear you ask it 4 times. Like, it was just like, come on. But yeah, anyway, it was a great season, seeing all the applicants and seeing literally like the people who I will be in the trenches with come summertime and internship year, and just like how far we've come, you know, it was really enlightening and encouraging to see kind of my cohort, my class all make it to this point and see them on interviews together with me. So it was just awesome. So now you guys, for my next steps, I talked about the kind of ranking process and how that works. I also did a specific video on this topic, so go check it out if you haven't watched. But kind of match week happens in March. So on March 18th, Friday, March 18th, I will officially find out at noon. I will get the envelope and find out which residency program I will be going to. Super exciting, super like, also because it's just really hard, you guys, to like plan your life out right now, because you don't know what's gonna happen, right? I could hope and assume that I might match at my number 1, but I don't know that for sure. What if it's my number 2? What if it's my number 20? What if I don't match at all, you know? So these are very real concerns, and it's like hard to make any kind of like movements for your future or plan anything when you don't have that certainty, right? So I don't even know which city I'm gonna be in. I don't know where I'm going to live. And I personally would love to buy a home this upcoming year because I'm gonna be somewhere for 3+ years. And I'm gonna be in, you know, like how do I tell a real estate agent, hey, I'm interested in like, you know, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in, you know, this part of town and yada, yada, yada. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna make yet. And I'm not even sure if I'm really gonna live in this city, but yeah, if you could like basically do free labor to find me that property and, you know, help me out, then it would be much appreciated. And it's just like, how do I sound, you know? So it's just really hard to make any progress on next steps when you just don't know, right? And it's like, I kind of want to do some manifestation and just like kind of plan my life like I'm gonna match at my number 1 and just manifest it for myself. But also I don't want to get too deep into, you know, like planning things out and then it just didn't for some reason happen like that. So, but this is all a part of medicine, and literally everybody goes through it, every single person, and we still signed up for this knowing all of that, right? So it's just important to remember our why, and that of course there might be some challenges and some unpredictable circumstances that come up along the way. There might be a lot of uncertainty and flexibility and adaptability that one needs to have, especially when things move quickly. And from match day in March to starting residency in July, there's probably gonna be a lot of craziness going on in that time frame as far as me trying to find a house or find somewhere to live, moving, relocating, all of that stuff, which you guys are gonna witness. But I'm still so excited for it, you know? So it's like, it's a great time in my life. It's a very kind of transformative, and it literally, if I could put it into words how it feels like you're reading a book, right? And the next chapter, you know, is like going to be the height. What is that word called? What is that word called of a story that it's like the peak, or like that's when the height of the story takes place? And I think there's a word for it, but it's escaping me right now. But it's like the plot, where the plot thickens. I think there's a word for it, like the point at which the maximum peak of the story or whatever. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. So you know, you're reading a book and you're in, say, chapter 9, and you feel that chapter 10 is like the big hoorah. Like this is where the plot thickens, and it's like leading up to it, right? And you're in your last 3 pages of chapter 9, and you're like, chapter 10 is about to go crazy, like it's about to go stupid, right? So you're just like trying to hurry up through those last 3 pages. That is how my life feels right now, right? It's like so crazy, and it's like trying to get to chapter 10, but also like, am I mentally and emotionally ready for chapter 10? Probably not, but I'm still excited for it, you know, like the plot is gonna thicken for sure. So that's how it feels. I'm not sure that was a great analogy, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, that was kind of like my long-winded overview of how I feel about how my residency interview season was, you guys. This video was not meant to be this long, but you know, I get to chatting and I can't help it, and I just want to talk to you guys because I haven't talked to you guys in so long, and I apologize. I thought I was going to be able to do more over the last few weeks, but as residency interview season kind of came to a close, it just got busier than I thought it was going to be. And while I say the interview season has come to a close, it's not technically over yet, because there's still some things that I have to do. I don't have to do, it's optional, but I have a lot of like events to attend over the next few weeks, such as like second look events. They do a lot of like underrepresented minority events for like recruitment purposes over the next few weeks, because they know that students are making their rank lists, and it's kind of the last opportunity, the last chance to make an impression and really recruit a student to rank your program higher, right? So there's a lot of kind of those events happening over the next few weeks. But as far as my interviews themselves go, they are over, you know? And these events that I'm talking about are optional. There's not a lot of them, but there are quite a few, so I can kind of pick and choose which ones I want to go to, mostly based on my interest in that program, because it is also the last opportunity for me to show face and me to show my interest in those programs, right? By attending those last events before rank lists are due, to try to, you know, show them once again how interested I am in coming there. So yes, so that is it, you guys. The content is about to go crazy. I always say that, and I always say, I promise you guys, I'm gonna put out more content. I'm gonna put out more content, but this is legit this time, because I am pretty much done, you guys, with like my major requirements for graduation. The only thing I have left is emergency medicine, which is next month for 4 weeks. But it's also shift based. So in the beginning of the rotation, you get your schedule of like which shifts you come in, and it's not like every day. So that is a lot more like, you know, just kind of not chill, but it's a lot more predictable, I guess. But for the rest of this time, so for this next month, the month after my EM rotation, those subsequent months, I'm on vacation, you guys. So I'm actually right now packing to leave on vacation tomorrow, which you guys are gonna get a vlog about. So I am going to be going crazy with content. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you are tuned in and alerted when a new video is dropped, because you don't want to be late to the party. Like, so I love you guys. Thank you for like hanging in there with me over this time, and over the last 2 years now, you know, through the last half of my medical school journey. It really has been a wild ride, and it's just getting started. So for those of you who are here with me along this journey with me, I'm so excited to continue it, and the next steps are coming, you guys. So we're gonna be moving somewhere, so I'm so excited for you guys to come with me and start residency with me. It's gonna be a wild time, you guys. Like, we're gonna be doctors soon. Like, did you guys think that this was possible when I was posting week in the life of a medical student and I didn't know what I was doing on the floors and had no idea, and now I'm legit about to be a whole ass doctor? It's a crazy. So just make sure you're subscribed and give this video a thumbs up. As always, we don't have space for haters over here. Leave a comment, show me some love, let me know what questions you guys have, and I will see you on the flip side. Also, happy holidays, you guys. Like, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, to everyone who celebrates. You know, it is a new year. I'm gonna be dropping my 2022 vision board video very soon. You guys will be happy to know that a lot of my 2021 visions came true. It's just mine. There's a lot going on, you guys. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay well. I'll see you next time, family. Catch you later.